Before I begin this review, I should probably remind people who were not aware that I was on vacation for the past week in Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic at the Hard Rock Casino and Hotel. So yeah, I wasn't able to make any videos on the Deadpool trailer or the Pez movie that was announced, but if you go on my movie pilot page, link in the description, you will see that I wrote 2 articles about them, and I'm going to start writing more articles on there. It's not going to be for like major news stories. Like major news stories will be on my YouTube channel, but if it's like kind of minor but still kind of important to talk about, then it'll be on my movie pilot page. Also, never go to the Hard Rock Casino and Hotel in Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic because they're customer serviceless. Okay, let's begin the review. Fantastic Four is directed by Josh Trank, who made Chronicle, one of the best found footage films ever. What this movie's about is Reed Richards and Ben Grimm, played by Jamie Bell and Miles Teller, have cracked interdimensional travel at a very young age, and they brought it to a science fair once, and the teacher says, no, that's not science for some reason. But this old science-y teacher guy and his daughter Sue Storm find it, and they're like, hey, we're doing the same thing conveniently also, so let's hire you. They just so happened to be at the same science fair where this kid was doing the exact same thing that they were doing. Okay. So yeah, they create a thing and they go to this place called Planet Zero and they get powers. Okay. You guys really want to hear my thoughts on this because there's been a lot of bad buzz for Fantastic Four. No one can deny that. Even the director tweeted out something recently. I think he deleted it, but it's basically saying he had a fantastic version for this movie, but that's never going to be seen by anyone because of the studio meddling or something. There's been a lot of bad buzz behind this, like ever since the movie was announced and the casting, people thinking it's controversial, but I've still had hopes for this movie because the cast is great. I love Josh Trank as a director. Chronicle was amazing, and I really like the trailers for this movie. I honestly really like them. So the day after I got back from vacation, I saw this movie and The Gift, that review coming later. So, I saw Fantastic Four. And I was sitting there, ready. I was ready for anything. My buddy Nate from Stupid Beaker Productions told me I was going to hate myself because of how boring it was. So I was getting ready. I was ready for the worst. I still had hope that maybe there were some things good about this movie. So, I saw it. What did I think? Ah! What the fuck? Okay, before I get into any bad things about this movie, I should say that I do not hate it as much as people are saying, because a lot of people are giving this movie F's, 0s out of 5 or 10s and all that, but there are a couple, and when I say a couple, I mean like really 2 things, and they're minor. The first being the first 10 minutes of the movie. I actually really liked that because it was kind of interesting. I was like, oh, really? This is how the movie's gonna go? Oh, really? I can't wait for that. And then the movie didn't go that direction. And there are a few tiny moments that happen in this movie that I'm like, yes, this is the Fantastic Four movie that I want to be watching right now. And that's the end of my pros. This movie is a disaster. From the end of that first 10 minutes that I liked to the end of the movie, it was a huge train wreck. I was really looking forward to this movie because the cast is really good. Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan, Kate Mara, Jamie Bell, Toby Kebbell as Victor Von Doom. He played Koba in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. We're gonna go back to that villain in just a little bit. Miles Teller, I was really looking forward to this guy because he was great in Whiplash. I think he's a great actor. But in this movie, he is not good. He's bland. He's a bland actor. And so is Kate Mara, too. They're supposed to have this, kind of relationship thing. It's always been in the comics, so in this movie they're bringing that here. They kind of hint at it at the beginning, but they never go anywhere with that, and their dialogue sucks. So, Michael B. Jordan is supposed to be the comic relief of this movie, yet nothing he says is funny. Like, nothing at all that he says was funny whatsoever. And Jamie Bell, before the thing, I couldn't buy him as a guy who would want to work on this because he's, even though he is kind of short and pale, like a nerd, I guess, he just seemed like he had a little muscle on him. So how is he really a guy who's into this stuff? But when he turns into the Thing, It's still bland! Like, here's the thing. Reed Richards and Ben Grimm are supposed to have this unique relationship because Reed Richards kind of runs out on Ben Grimm when he, finally turns into the Thing. He's like, Reed, help me. And he's like, don't worry, I'll come back for you. And then he never comes back for him for a year. He's on the run, hiding from the government, while the Invisible Woman, the Human Torch, and the Thing have made kind of friends with the government while Reed Richards is on the run. Reed Richards never comes back for Ben Grimm, ever, at all. He doesn't even try to come up with something to help him while he's on the run. He just looks up files of the Thing. Nothing important to try to help him at all. You'd think the Thing would be really pissed off about that. And they kind of hint that when they have this really, really short and wasted scene in the forest where basically Reed Richards finally gets found by the government. He takes out a bunch of guys with really horrible CGI, stretchy stuff, and then the Thing lands, and he punches a tree. Reed Richards dodges it. They share a couple angry lines. The Thing headbutts him ridiculously. The scene ends. Really? And then as soon as they get back, they're just like, kind of giving each other the cold shoulder. They never really seem to make up. It's just... They don't even seem to make up, it's just they kind of accept each other as they go along. There's never a scene where they kind of grow as friends after Reed Richards ran away from the Thing. You don't feel the Thing's pain because you don't care about the Thing as a character because we don't see enough of the Thing. He's supposed to be this really sad guy because he's being used to kill people and stuff because he's, basically a military weapon. But you don't feel that. There's one scene in the trailer where the Thing is on this helicopter and he drops down and he blows up like a truck. That's not in the movie. That's not in the movie. There's a scene in the trailer also where the Thing takes the top of a tank and hits another tank with it. That's just like a newsreel. Like, it's just shown... It's not a newsreel. It's actually like a government recorded it and it's like, oh, look at this montage of stuff. It's not an actual action scene. In fact, there's only 1.5 action scenes in the whole movie. The one being at the very end where they have to fight the villain, and the half being the one in the forest, because that was over too soon. Really, the forest scene could have been so good, like the emotion between Reed Richards and Ben Grimm after Reed Richards ran off on him when he should have helped him, but it's over in like a minute. A freaking minute. And that's another thing, the chemistry between all the characters, that doesn't work either because you don't feel like any relationship was grown at all. It feels like, not only does it feel like these actors don't want to be here whatsoever, but it also feels like there are a lot of scenes that were supposed to be in it that showed maybe their characters growing with each other, maybe growing a new relationship with each other, growing as people and characters. There's barely any of that. You know what most of the dialogue is, despite being corny and cringeworthy? It's exposition to set up more stuff. It's boring, guys. This movie is boring! This is a superhero movie, alright? This is a superhero movie, right? There should be a lot of action scenes in this movie. In fact, there are supposed to be some action scenes that are in this movie, but apparently Fox did some behind-the-scenes meddling and took them out. What is going on with this movie? Was it Josh Trank's fault? Was it Fox? Was it both? Or was it... CGI, alright. Miles Teller does a weird, stretchy rubber skin face change that... Oh my god. Alright, yeah, there's a scene where Miles Teller has to change his face because he can do that, and they, are driving down in his car, and then you just see this really weird, stretchy face CGI effect. I laughed hysterically looking at that, and I don't think I should have been. And whenever he does, a springy arms to punch someone, or a really springy move, that looked terrible. The Thing, he was by far the best looking CGI, but there were moments where his CGI sucked too. Like when he lands in the forest, like I mentioned earlier, you can tell that's fake. There's a scene where he's right behind Mr. Fantastic running behind him. You could tell that they just digitally added him in. He wasn't actually there. You can just feel it. I know CGI is not actually in a movie. I know what they're putting in CGI is fake, but at least try to make it look realistic. Like the last 15 minutes of the movie where they're having the big fight in the Planet Zero. It looks green screen, it looks fake. Wow. Oh, the Human Torch too, when he turns all fiery, looks like garbage. I've been postponing this for the entire review, but here we go. Dr. Doom, here's the villain, alright? I actually did not hate his first appearance in behind the scenes. I thought, okay, maybe this is, it's just a behind the scenes photo. Maybe he's going to look a little bit different. I don't know. We're not even getting a really good view of him. They showed him in the trailer when they said, "What is coming? Doom." And they show like a little bit of his face. And I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. But then I actually saw his face in the movie. He looks like an idiot. Not only does he look like an idiot, but his powers don't make any sense, alright? He's so powerful that he can just walk down a hallway and people's heads will explode, yet he doesn't do that for any of the Fantastic Four. They never explain why he doesn't do that to them. If he could just easily blow up someone's head, why doesn't he just do that to the Fantastic Four? Also, he just out of nowhere, in the beginning, they go on this planet. Spoiler alert, who freaking cares? No one's seeing this movie anyways. It's a box office flop. Who cares? Spoiler time. Alright, so they go to this planet and they leave Dr. Doom there because, he fell, oh no. But then they finally go back after rebuilding the thingy and they find him. He's like, I knew you'd come back for me. And then they bring him back and then all of a sudden, he's crazy. That's like 5 minutes of the movie right there. All of what I just said took place in 5 minutes. Them finding Dr. Doom, them bringing him back, and then, whoops, he's evil. That's just like 5, it could be even less. It could be even less. That was like 5 minutes of the movie. You don't see him, like, becoming evil. They kind of hint at him being kind of weird, but they never really hinted at him being, like, an evil guy. Like, just out of nowhere. Out of nowhere at all. He doesn't grow at all as a villain. It's just, whoops, I'm evil because I absorbed this stuff on this planet. Oh, and we can't forget the way they take out the villain. Yeah, it's still spoiler time. Shut up. Alright, the Fantastic Four, they all team up to take him down. Like, Sue Storm turns the thing invisible while the Human Torch distracts him and stuff like that. And then Sue Storm turns off the invisibility of the thing and he lamely runs up to Dr. Doom and says, "Hey, it's clobbering time." Punch! And Dr. Doom gets punched in that blue ray you've seen on the poster in the TV spots or whatever. He gets punched into that ray and he basically just gets disintegrated. Alright, cool. What I really hate is that even though this movie's a flop, Fox is still considering making more Fantastic Four movies. Stop, alright? Stop. I'm done with the Fantastic Four altogether, okay? Even if they do go back to Disney and the MCU, I'm not gonna be like, oh my gosh, finally! I'm gonna be like, oh, you're gonna do that again? Alright, cool. Despite what I said at the beginning, the first 10 minutes were good, and there are several moments where this movie could have been great. I just can't hide the fact that this movie sucks. It sucks. And I'm gonna give Fantastic Four a D-. I'm not going to give it a flat out F because the first 10 minutes were good and there are several tiny moments that happen where I'm like, this is the movie I want. But they never delve into that. They waste it on all of this bullcrap. It doesn't even feel like a Josh Trank movie. It feels like Fox meddled with this movie so much. This movie feels so clumsily put together. The second and third act don't even feel like real acts. They feel like mess. I feel like they were setting up 2 and 3 acts, but they just kind of mushed together. At least the first act of this movie felt structured, then the second and third act come along, they're just like this with each other. Seriously, when they find Dr. Doom on the planet, like I mentioned earlier, I felt like we were at the middle portion of the movie, but it turned out it was the beginning of the last 25 minutes. But if you saw Fantastic Four, leave in the comments below of what you thought of it, and I'm going to be reviewing The Gift next, so there's that. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher, and please, someone make a good Fantastic Four movie. We've been waiting for so long. Seriously, the 2005 and 2007 Fantastic Four movies are hilariously awful. The Fantastic Four movies should be good. Please make a good one! See you guys next time. Bye.